a lot of work. You had to add a plugin. It was like a ton of work to get this, and it usually didn't work very well. But it did have this Google search box on the search page.
Or at least something that looked like a Google.
It was literally powered by Google. It had
it?
When you still can do it, you can go and hit search and it takes you to a Google site.
Mm-hmm.
So it will take you to a Google site that just has search. It just returns Google results for everything except for these certain keywords. And the keywords aren't always, I don't think that we know all of them.
Yeah.
Frankly.
We've got a few of them listed.
Got a couple of them.
Yeah.
One of them, you could type in redemption, and it would link you back to that questions page that we were talking about that had all the questions flying at you.
The Starfield of questions.
Mm-hmm. You could search hell, and you would be linked to the links page, which was just a page that had those 3 links on it again.
Oh, that and got it.
Or you could do answer. And I wish, full disclosure, I went through the Wayback Machine and saw most of these pages for myself. But this one was broken for me, which was kind of a bummer.
Oh yeah, I was really curious.
And I even I was going through the source code. I was like, God, there's got to be somewhere it's linked to this video. You typed in answer, the link would you would hit answer and hit search, and it would lead to a picture of a bald, naked woman falling through darkness. And then after, I don't know how long, just a couple of seconds, I think, but definitely not more than 30 seconds, you would be sent to this site called signanoir.com.
Hey, I'm not the only one who had problems with that word. It was me last week.
I did it way better than you did, though.
Did a great job.
And here I will also pause to say, unfortunately, signanoir.com, whoever programmed that site did that thing that I find really, really, really heckin' annoying, and that is they implemented no robots text in their page code, which means that the Wayback Machine can't crawl it, which means I don't have a way to see what that page looked like at that time.
This is the same thing that some websites do to keep their content private so that Google can't crawl them and return that stuff in results, at least in the beginning. So it was a common tool then as well as now. We accidentally had that in the very beginning.
Wikipedia does it.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure that Wikipedia does it. You have to go through their revision history. You can't say, what did this site look like at that time? Which makes sense because it's constantly evolving, and that's fine. But yeah, there are some websites that have this no robots crawler thing, and unfortunately they did implement that.
And to be clear for everybody, that's the text when you see it's been distorted and it's all kinds of, is that what you're talking about?
No, it cannot pull a copy of the website. The code tells the robot to go away. And being a good little robot, it goes away and doesn't take any pictures.
Oh, okay.
Right. So basically what will happen is you'll type some URL into the Wayback Machine, and it'll come up with a little thing. It'll reload the page, and it'll say, we can't show you these results because of no robots.html or whatever, .txt or whatever it is. So that's a bummer. But I do understand from some people that apparently that site was basically the same format as hell.com and acted as a portfolio for a guy by the name of Kenneth Arnson. And don't worry, we will talk about Ken Arnson.
Aronson?
Aronson is probably the right way to say it.
Yeah. We'll talk about Dear Kenneth in a little
Is he still alive?
He is.
That sounds like a bad 70s novel.
Dear Kenneth. Sounds like a bad song. But apparently he's described as a conceptual artist who uses photography as part of his process. I'm not going to read his whole thing.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
According to Kenneth's personal site, which again we'll talk about in a little bit, he is the CEO and founder of the Parallel Network and the Parallel Network of, I can't say it, Signanoir Noir.
Signanoir?
Yeah, that one. And hell.com, which is considered to be an enigma of the web.
According to him.
It's considered to be the enigma of the web.
The enigma.
Not just an enigma.
You're right. The enigma. Yeah. Excuse me. So that's what happened when you went to search. So now, for reals, we're going to talk about, Steve wanted to bring something up.
Okay.
For the class.
Yeah, bring it up.
Well, I mean, we talked about this offline, but one of the most annoying things about this website, even when you pull it through the Internet Archive, is it had a redirect built into it. And currently in the archive, it redirects you away from itself in 20 seconds.
It used to do 2 minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's 20 seconds. It's bleeping annoying to try and find anything. But I went through it and was just dinking around, and I found a couple of things. There's a page in 2005 that I got myself into, and it was the link was locations, and I didn't write down the date in 2005. Unfortunately, I went back to try and find it, but of course, it's just such a rabbit hole.
Especially when it's redirecting you every 20 seconds.
Yeah, but what it did is it threw up a pop-up screen, or a pop-up window, I should say. And before I closed it, because the content in the page was kind of nil, it wasn't even enough for me to note it. I think it was probably just the same stuff I'd seen before, the logo. But what I did notice is the header in the window, where it'll say blah, 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 whatever text they want there. It had written in it 41, the letter N, 01, a space, 73, the letter W, 52. And I was like, well, that sounds like a set of coordinates. So I went into Google Earth or Google Maps, I can't remember which one it was, and I happened to still have, it was Google Earth, because I happened to still have up Japan, Tokyo from last week's episode.
Yeah.
And I entered it, and it returned a location in Tokyo. And I thought, well, what the deuce? That's really weird. And so I hit the, go to my home button. And so it went back to my neighborhood. And I typed in that location again. And it found a location in Portland. And then I'm going, well, this is. So I was like, okay, what's a major city that people wouldn't think of? And I just typed in New Delhi. Went to New Delhi, India. Put in those coordinates once I was in New Delhi. And it found a site. It's really, really crazy as long as you spaced it so that it was the 2 digits, the alpha character, and then 2 digits, and then a physical space between that and the next set of numbers and of the letter. So it's like it always takes you somewhere.
So it's like maybe perhaps the not the degrees, but just the minutes and seconds, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very strange, and I kept playing with it, but I couldn't find a rhyme or reason for what the hell it was doing.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So this was one of the few things where I was like, I found something. Oh, dang it! Now I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
In this story.
Yeah, but it's super interesting, and we will definitely talk about that in theories a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to go out and look on Google Maps, see what I can find.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, well, continuing on.
Yes.
In 2010, Hell.com featured that original logo once again, which did lead to that kind of
Starfield effect?
They describe it as like a holographic logo, basically, so like an updated logo.
Huh.
What?
Is that where it seems to shift in space and change? You're waving your hand around? Got it.
Just going, yeah, like this. It had, and it apparently had that Starfield behind it. I'm doing a lot of gesticulating right now.
Yeah, towards your face.
Yeah. No, it didn't. It wasn't with the questions this time. It was red dots that apparently would, if you put your mouse over it, like covered one with your little cursor, it would play a sound.
A tone?
Yeah, a tone, if you will.
So you could almost make varying musical tones by going over bunches of them?
Yep.
I've seen, there's a lot of websites like that now, but yeah.
Yeah.
I bet if you played a specific tune, it might take you somewhere, like, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you got into the special secret site.
Well, there was, at the bottom of that page, there was a login feature, so probably that login feature is how you got into the special site. But, hey, call me crazy.
I still kind of like the idea that the special Illuminati level.
Well, the extra level.
Yeah, the extra. Yeah, they probably could use that. Yeah, play a little tune.
I found a series, a similar set of dots in 2005 or 6 as well.
Interesting.
Which was another Flash movie, and it was 6 dots, and they were set up in a circle, and then a circle was actually drawn on top of them, and they would fade out, and it would all get smaller and smaller and disappear into space. So it was like 2 or I think it was 3 or 4 times. It was large. It was in a pop-up window. They loved pop-up windows, and then it would drop, and then repeat to the original size.
I didn't experience that.
Oh, I only found it once, and I happened to find it today when I was looking for the location thing again.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
So it
that
seems
was
like there were some common themes, very simple geometric themes.
Yeah, I think there were. So if you went to the login feature at the bottom of the page, basically, if you put incorrect information in, or if you even just waited too long, because that was apparently a thing. I don't know. This website seems to have a big obsession with time. Like if you're just chilling there, like it's gonna redirect you. So if it took you too long to log in, or you put incorrect information in, it would take you back to that search page, where it was just the search. And then Steve found something else in 2010. Is that true?
Yeah. So if you go to March 24th, 2010. And again, it pops up a window, and I don't remember which link I clicked on because there's 3 of them, so of course I can't remember it.
Yep.
It brought up a pop-up, and this time in that header in the top of your browser, you know the bar on your keyboard, so there's the / and then if you hold shift, it's got the very vertical bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so that bar is in that area, but it's again set. There's 2 bars and a space, and then 5 bars and a space, 3 bars a space, 4 bars a space, and a single bar. So I just simply converted that to numbers and dropped them into the search field because it comes out 25341.
Okay.
If you type that into the search field that's available, it takes you to a new page, which has which has got this humongous thing written about hell.com. I copy and pasted the text because I could not read it in black and white, and I dropped it into Word, and it didn't have any carriage returns between the paragraphs anymore, and it was 25 pages long.
Wow.
Wow, cool. Did you read it all?
No. I read like the first paragraph or 2 and then went, wait, how long is this? Oh God, no, I give up.
What did the first couple paragraphs talk about?
It was all about what hell.com was, and I don't know, it was weird. It was hard to follow.
What did it say?
It was several days ago. I don't remember exactly what it said. It was really hard for me to, I was just like, I don't get it. It was, to a degree, it almost felt like it was some existential text about hell and blah, blah, blah. And I think it might have been right after the purchase date. I think that's when that might have gone in.
Okay.
That's usually when people are more excited about their websites.
Yeah.
Okay, well that, again, is
Weirdness.
like super weird and interesting. I know there are lots of things like that. I mean,
Little Easter eggs.
To be honest with you, like I said, I tried to go through and look at least one capture on every day, but I frankly didn't get a chance to go through and look at like the source code of every single day, or even every post or every crawl every day. So I'm certain that I missed stuff.
You have a job or something? Is that
I know, it's crazy, right?
Well, that and the whole 20-second redirect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
That makes it amazingly annoying.
I was honestly, you guys know this, that my fiance has been like doing coding stuff recently, and so I was sitting on the couch on my computer, and I was like, had the source code window up, and I was just like sitting there, and it kept redirecting me, and I was like, "Duh!" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm just looking at code stuff, and it's just messing with me." And he was like, "Oh, let me take a look at it." And it took him one redirect, and he was like, "I'm not looking at this."
That sounds about right.
That's about right.
Have any idea what the code was written in? Was it just HTML?
Oh yeah, it was just regular HTML
CSS.
code. There was nothing.
There's some JavaScript on there too.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything outlandish or
typical of the time.
It was just standard code.
Yeah. So in 2011, the domain hell.com was disabled. As far as we can tell, it just had a blank white screen that showed. And then later in 2011 is when we got to see this, the first redirect. The website, you would do hell.com, and it would just automatically redirect you to the Gospel Media Network, which is a Christian religious site, which is probably why you thought that's what it redirected to currently. It doesn't do that anymore, but there you have it. So that's the description of... I don't know when, frankly, to be honest with you, I don't know when after that it became the site that it is today, because it's not interesting anymore.
Yeah, no, the magic was gone.
It's gone, totally gone. So none of, I mean, it's weird, but none of this is really creepy yet, right?
Oh no, it's creeping the hell out of me.
Is it?
No.
Not really.
No, you better amp this up.
Okay, I'm ready to amp it up. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Yeah,
Up
take it to the next level, please.
So the creepy factor comes from a Reddit user named
Xilonex?
I'm going to say Xilonex. Yeah, that's how I want to say it too. And this person wrote an account of their experience trying to gain access to the kind of inner workings of hell.com, because if I wasn't clear enough, there was a members only login portion of this website. Supposedly. And according to Xilonex, there was. And I want to talk about this experience because it's this firsthand account of like what happened when he tried to. The story basically starts out describing the website in like way less detail than we just like did for the last 40 minutes.
Paragraph instead of 40 minutes. Yeah.
Basically, it said that it had a flashy front end, but really very little to it, which is accurate. And then Xilonex says that he decided to poke around for like who knows why in the root source code. And that's when things started to get a bit crazy. Through a series of kind of techno-babble and backdoors, I'm not going to bother to describe why, he apparently got access to the member part of the site. And I'm going to have Joe read some excerpts from this rehashing. Yes,
okay.
Please.
Here's Xilonex. Let me put on my Xilonex voice here. Most of the pages seem to be strange avant-garde art presentations. Some were videos and others were rather well-designed web pages. Looking back, some of the pages looked a lot like what we now call Web 2.0. In 2005, it looked almost futuristic. As I watched a slideshow set to industrial techno, where each slide showed a different children's book that had been photoshopped to have a perverted title. Some examples would be Goodnight Boob and Everybody. So I switched windows to look at the source code. Unquote.
So he was able to find a link that looked familiar from like his original pokings around, but when he clicked it, it took him back to the same page that he had just been on. So he basically what happens is he figures, okay, well, my website isn't working properly. We've all experienced this before. You have to reload a page because it's just not quite working particularly well. But he reset his whole setup and then loaded up this thing called a brute force application, which is basically a program that will just try thousands and thousands of username and password combinations until it gets in.
Yeah, it's brute force. It's very dumb. It's very slow, but it's very effective because eventually it is going to find an answer.
It's going to find something.
Now, it may take 1,000 years, but it would find the
eventually.
answer.
That's true.
Yeah, try every username you can with the password, and there you go.
Yeah.
Admin, password.
Yeah. I mean, you would be surprised how often that happens, unfortunately. But
I've had Wi-Fi that way.
Basically what happens is he does gain access to the members only site again through this brute force application after, I think he said it took a couple hours, but he said that he found some more information about this collective of artists, some of whom are pretty famous today, who were reportedly just working on kind of high concept programs. But after just like a couple minutes of poking around, his login credentials that he had spoofed got banned, so he was kicked out of the members only part.
Well, that's kind of sad.
It is. So he kind of continues on to start describing what I would say where we get pretty creepy. Joe, do you want to read some more stuff?
Yeah, sure. Now, this is where it gets odd. Out of nowhere, my browser history, download history, bookmarks, and several other common features of my browser had been completely wiped. Moreover, my roommate was shouting from the other room because his computer had suffered the same fate. I assumed it was a tech-savvy sysop that hacked me to make a point or something.
So he grabs his laptop and goes down to the local coffee shop to use their Wi-Fi because it seems like the systems operator, which is what sysop is, had flagged his IP. Basically, you can ban an IP from a website and say this.
Sure.
Hey, anybody logging on from this IP cannot gain access anymore.
That's what the nanny programs do.
So he worked on getting back in and actually did get back in, but apparently this time when he, through that brute force application again, got back into the members only site, it actually looked different. Joe?
The page I landed on was nothing more than a flash video in the center of a black background. The video that followed was gruesome on a level I had not yet seen. I scoff at the pain series, and most shock sites are boring to me. I can't even boast that by this point, screamers didn't even make me jump. Amongst all these gruesome images and video clips of what can only be described as horrific crimes against humanity, some red text slowly came into focus. Quote, "Those who seek hell are destined to find it," unquote. I closed my laptop and headed home. It was getting late, and I figured I could take another crack at it in the morning. On the way back, I walked past the church sign that said, quote, "Those who seek hell are destined to find it," unquote. When I got home, I hopped on my desktop and logged into a game. As I ran around killing mythical creatures and chatting with other players, a GM, noted for typing in red text, typed, quote, "Those who seek hell are destined to find it," unquote. I asked the GM if he had spent any time on hell.com recently, and within a few minutes, I was banned from the game for using inappropriate language.